Australian exporters are scrambling to find ways to get their products into the Middle East. As Amelia Terzon reports, they're facing growing delays and mounting costs.
One of the world's key shipping routes is tonight under attack.
Iran appears to be ratcheting up these attacks on vessels.
Uncertainty at sea as shipping companies divert routes and introduce war levies.
Crises like these have an ability to permeate around the global economy.
It's a massive issue and a massive burden on exporters and cargo owners, and a massive cost of living pressure point as well.
Wool exporters are one of the number of Australian industries that is battling shipping logistics. Josh Lamb's company just sent bales to Europe.
Anything that was in transit already towards the Suez Canal has been put into what they call shelter. It'll move eventually when it's safe, I think, for those vessels to move. What it does do is slow down when we get paid.
The route starting in Australia and onto Singapore snakes through the Bab el-Mandab Strait before going up the Red Sea through the Suez Canal and into Europe. Freight experts say that before the war, the Red Sea route was only just being used more widely again after years of attacks from Houthi rebels.
The Middle East conflict, essentially that's flipped that on its head, and none of the vessels are going through that region once again. So that's put a pause on anything through the Red Sea and led most carriers to declare they're going around the Cape of Good Hope.
This route still goes from Australia into Asia, then around Africa instead, taking several more weeks to get to Europe. The wool exporters' costs are soaring as the shipping companies introduce emergency charges.
Varies from shipping line to shipping line, but it's anywhere from probably $2,000 to say $4,500 US per container.
It is not just Australian wool export that is being disrupted here. Lots of Australian beef, including Wagyu, is flown directly into the Middle East. Some live exporters are even saying that they're halting shipments of live animals for now.
This beef exporter is still trying to fly chilled meat into the UAE.
It goes in AVs, which is approximately 1,200 kilos. It's packed in dry ice. Right now we're planning on just packing 2 at a time.
The Middle East was making up about 10% of the company's sales.
We saw about a 10% increase in freight just recently, whilst this conflict is going on due to disruptions.
Australian companies export goods and services worth about $14.7 billion a year to Gulf states.
It seems like in some parts of the Middle East it's very much just business as usual, particularly from the expat community. There's still a lot of buying coming through and trying to feed that sort of community, whereas other parts are going to be much more kind of responding to just how severe this type of crisis could be.
If the war continues, there are concerns that global consumer confidence will drop. Josh Lamb has already had a European buyer stop buying his wool.
At least in the short term. But you've got to understand too, they've had Russia and Ukraine for the last few years, they've had Palestine and Israel in the middle, now they've got a third conflict.
With oil prices rising as Iran chokes supply, Anthony Fellows is worried that farmers who feed his Wagyu cattle won't be able to operate.
Everything relies upon fuel, whether it's cow-calf producers in Tasmania, grain suppliers delivering grain, cutting it, taking our meat from processing to freezers. Everything needs fuel. And right now we're seeing uncertainty in pricing of fuel.
Driven by a war with no end game in sight.